Oh, here we go. What's all this about? Good morning, folks. It's DIY Farm. I know it's been a while, but let's do some work with the sheep. Nothing better on a sunny winter's morning. Actually, it's a lot better now I think about it. Right, we just need to bring in the lambs. Unfortunately, to the other side of the farm, everything's broken. The truck's broken, everything's stuck in mud. But we need to bring them up, get them weighed, and see how they're doing. First thing we need to do though is prep the yard. Obviously, it's a bit of a building site still. But what I tend to do is get all the gates ready so I can just bring them in on my own. And they get used to this. We've brought them in, I don't know, well, all the sheep, the two different groups, maybe once every 3 or 4 weeks. And luckily we've got all these big gates from the old dairy, so kind of use that as a second hand to guide them in. So we've got 20 to bring up, and for that we should be able to fit everything into this little yard here. Now you have, I'm afraid, missed all sorts over the past few months, but I'm going to give you an update as we walk around today. Right, it's finally chance to get these girls their manicure they deserve, or pedicure. They were meant to be done really back in the summer when they came to us. However, we never heard back from 2 different people. Obviously only having 2 cows, we're bottom of the list. Anyway, we found a new guy and he's coming out this morning because Hyssop's getting a couple of Aladdin slippers back there where they're curling up like goats, and Hyssop just needs a bit of an MOT. They're in the messy part of the farm, but he's going to bring his crush and hopefully park it here, and then we can just walk them in. Just like that. Nothing wild. Apart from that one. Right, Hoofman's here. I don't know his name. Starts with W, so I'm guessing Will or William, but we'll have to wait and see. He's going to back up his crush to the gate here, I hope, and then we can just walk them through, but it's a proper hydraulic lift up the feet job, so it's going to make things easy, I hope. Good girl, Edna. Good girl. So first up, morning chores, and I'll show you who's hanging around the place. So in the stable, we've got the last batch of girls for the year. So these are all the Point-a-Lay hybrids. There you go, girls. So we started selling chickens back in February, March. We've been selling maybe 50 or so a month. Members of the public, people who just want, you know, half a dozen or so for the garden, for a small holding, whatever. So these we buy when they're kind of teenagers, all kind of vaccinated, ready to go, and then we normally sell them once they're a really good size like these. Few eggs a day in here already, so they're kind of at the point where they're not, some people sell them as Point-a-Lay and actually they're only about 15-16 weeks old. These girls are really truly are Point-a-Lay. At one point earlier in the year we probably had about 10 varieties and pure breeds and bantams. This is the last batch of the year, and depending on the hatchery and what's available at any one time, we're kind of run out on most of the colours, but the speckledies, the blues and the light Sussex sort of colourings are always some of the popular ones anyway. So they're the only 3 colours we've got left now. They're in here. Normally we've got them out in a pen, or different pens out in the lower yard, which is where members of the public come to. But for now, everyone is just staying a little bit more confined, but quite often, well, we're trying to sell them within within a month or two anyway, so they're not here for too long. But by next year we might do some better pens and a little shop out the front. We'll see. Right, on to the pigs. Now pigs, once again, in at the moment. This is Bruce. How you doing, big boy? Yeah, you want to chew my ears off. So Bruce is our new boar, and he is too young. He's too small. He thinks he's big enough, but you're not, are you? He's too small to get up on our girl. So we've had Jack, who is our stud boar that we hire from Lucy nearby. And he served all three of ours about a month or two ago. And he's in here with two of the other boys. These are two of the ones from the summer. So this is the bachelor pad. Now I don't really like keeping pigs indoors at all anyway. It's too much work. But it was just the easiest way to manage it. They are gonna... Hey, we're trying to talk. We're trying to talk. We're trying to make sure he becomes really sociable and calmish. Imagine, like, he's gonna end up being, I don't know, a couple 100 kilos. Like, he's gonna be big, and we're gonna be moving him in trailers, and he's gonna be handled a lot. So the last thing we want is an aggressive or boisterous boar. So it's just kind of handling, whereas the other boys don't really matter. But another job for today is to move all these boys up onto our vegetable garden, which is not a veg garden, but it needs clearing. Because frankly, it's a mess in here. All of this needs to be cleared out, deep cleaned. There's a couple of tons of mucking out to do there, and we can't really bring any vehicles in it, which is annoying. At some point, we'll clear all these intermediate walls out, make it more serviceable as a mini barn. And my tractor just about gets under here, so I can cut 2 inches off the exhaust, and we'll be able to back in and clear out. But we need this back because we're going to be milking soon, and we want it all to be clean and easy access. So also that back area is quite good for the cows, especially when she's got her calf with her at night. We can leave her in there if it's really bad weather. Right, yard's ready. Let's go find some sheep. I've actually got to leave in 50 minutes to go and pick up straw. Right, ignore the cows for now. Come on, dog, come and do some work. Right, unfortunately I had a bit of an incident with the truck last week, as you might have seen in the last video, and just recently everywhere. There has been a lot of rain. So if you remember, we fenced this track off last year, and it's our access to the other half of the farm, which is great. And in time we've got a hardcore track put down here, a stone track. However, it's not done yet, and we were hoping it would have been done this side of winter. So there's two things that need to line up, three things that need to line up for this track. One is we need to have the support of Natural England, or the sort of sustainable farming folk, and they really want us to put this track in. So obviously if you're driving up and down here constantly, it's wearing stuff out. Water is getting, soil's getting eroded into water quality degrade. Anyway, all that stuff means that they prefer tracks to be proper tracks on farms, and it's where an old track used to be anyway. So that was all good, and as part of that they told us to put in for the grants that are available for tracks, which we did 3 months ago, and they pulled all the grants last week. Yay. So it means that what will cost several £1,000s is probably not a sensible thing for us to be doing now, and obviously then you've got to put in prior approval for planning. Anyway, long story short, it's become very, very rutted, which is a pain, and it's getting very, very deep down here. So instead I thought, oh well, like in the summer, I'll drive up on the high spot, and not to avoid making it worse, and of course I slipped out. So it just slipped into the fence, and now, I mean, really it needs the fence. I should just cut the fence, taken the loss, and I could have repaired that instead I've now got the truck slid into there, so damaging the truck, and I can pull up one side with the digger, but then the back slides out more. It's just a mess, and I was not a pleasant person to be around on Sunday morning doing that, believe me. So I just gave up, and it sat there all week. But I mean, I know it's only a farm truck, but it's just so that's what I'm dealing with. So the regular driving along, check the sheep every night hasn't really happened now. Now I'm to do it on foot or drone. No, I haven't done that yet, but I might do it if I'm feeling particularly lazy. And I know all the farm channels, and just the press in general, has been covering a lot of the issues with the changes in inheritance tax and other subsidies and all the farming finances. A lot of that doesn't affect us being so small. There is a reason why this change is a bit more crippling, because the whole idea of the grants is to improve water and air quality, and you know, the hedgerow planted, the thousands of trees and hedges we planted was all made possible by those grants, and they scrapped them, well, held them for now. So seems a little bit short-sighted, but apparently the demand for them was very high, probably because farms are trying to work out how to get some income. But for us, the only way that this was even possible as a small farm is by getting some support towards all the stuff we had to put in, like the fencing and the water and all that, and that benefited us and also helps, you know, all these hedgerows. But looks like that might be on pause now, so I'm thankful that we managed to get in some of the fencing whilst it was still possible. But the fact that we had the grant in for that for 3 months, and then just as, I mean, it should have been approved before then, and then suddenly gone, it's just a kick in the teeth. But because we really rely on that, there's not enough income on the farm to go spending £5,000–10,000 on tracks and fencing. It would take probably 20 years of produce sales to even cover that. So for us, actually, those grants were really important. Anyway, right, I've not been down here in a little while, not in the light anyway. The lake's flowing, which is good. Oh, there's a heron down there. Sometimes this gets really high because the runoff blocks up. Right, how we got to get the other side of those lambs. Oh, I knew they'd go all the way to the end. Come here. Go on then. Hey, get back. So we had 20 lambs born back in April, and 50-50 split, girls and boys. We've kept everything at the moment. By about August, there were some really good big lambs. All that damp, wet September we had just seemed to knock them backwards. I think there was a bit of fluke, which is especially in damp ground, and a bit of the worm bird and things like that. Loads of weight loss really, which was just annoying. I should have kept on top of it, and it's taken a while now to get them back. Even now, some of them are just looking a bit lanky, but frankly we don't need another 10 ewes in the flock, so we're at capacity, especially now we've got cows. So what we're going to try and do is start selling off these. If there's a couple of really good ewe lambs, we'll keep them. The rest we need to sell, and just be a bit more sensible with the numbers, unless we manage to miraculously get more grazing, which is not going to happen anytime soon. Oh, the rest of that ash tree came down in the storm. It's a pain. Probably die back. It's a nice one actually. Real shame, because nearly all, maybe 90% of our trees along the brook are all alder and a few willow, which are just the ultimate tree for that environment. But there are some ash trees dotted in there. and they're just a nice bit of change along the tree line. They colour differently in the winter or in the autumn, and that was the biggest one, and it's gone. Alright, let's hope we can get past my truck now through all that mud. Don't jump the fence. Here, steady. Go on, girls, get through there. Shh, back, Maggie. Go on, there is a gap. Maggie, yeah. Come back. Good girl. Come on, here. Here. Alright, come on. Let's not have a fight about it. There is it, Maggie, back. There we go. Oh, here we go. What's all this about? I can see you. It's kind of good camouflage, but what are you doing? Buddy, get down. Oh, God. Oh, who let the cows out? Well, I did, actually. Come on. Poor old Oscar. He just wants a mate. Don't you, buddy? Maybe we'll try and have more than one calf next time. Go on. I know. You just want to play with everyone. You're just a bit big to play with me. He plays with the goat. They're about the only two that put up with his nonsense. Go on, big boy. So, Oscar was born May. That's his mum, Edna. Edna is quite simply a grumpy old cow, so we don't milk her. We tried, but quite like having kneecaps. She's a bit of a kicker, so he probably could be weaned now, but we don't have multiple fields of cows, so what we need to do is probably try, if he doesn't stop naturally, we'll try one of those nose. Oh, well done, that lamb's made it. Anyway, and this girl, as you can see, well, she just needs to get a wriggle on, because I don't really want to spend all Christmas worrying about a calf. The nice thing is, as soon as she's had her calf, we've got milk again for the family. We'll do an episode on the pigs at some point, but they're all in that pen, muddy pen. Yeah, you stay there, Kev. And I realised back in May, June, July, August, when we were milking every day and it was hard work and we were learning lots, I made no video content, and we were pretty thick in to the build at that time, so there wasn't much time. However, this time around we're still busy building, but we'll make sure that we get some filming of that, because it's quite a fun topic and I'm learning lots, and it's great to have, you know, fresh raw milk for the family. Right, 10 o'clock. I've got 20 minutes. I think we can do that. I can already tell that they're not put on much weight. Do another test, I think. Zero enough for me. Definitely quicker with two people, this one. The problem with sheep is, unlike the goats or even cows, you can't tell the condition unless you've got hands on them. And I think that's where I went wrong. You know, you look and you're like, especially if they're a bit cleaner, you can generally, you look and you think, oh, they're all okay, they're all healthy and stood up and alive, but actually you get your hands on them and realize they're actually quite thin and underweight. So that's where I slipped up in the summer. They were all good, and then yeah, just went downhill without me realizing. So it's a combination of weighing them, but obviously you want to make sure that they're actually getting chunky as well. Alright, this big boy, he's better. He's 50, just over 50 kilo. So we'll put him separately. Oh, I was really hoping we had three that would be close to ready, but I think there's two. We'll see. Yep, he's good. I've drafted off 3, which is okay. It's all I needed to. I can keep them separate. I've probably got 10 days. I might, although we don't tend to give any feed because they're such a good breed on grass. They just need a little bit of extra fattening up. Oh, now the cows are right down by the lake. Fabulous. Go on. Go on to piggy bank for now. What? Right, there's a bit of a bite of grass in there for them. Not much, but enough for a week. I'm just going to keep an eye on them, see if we can get some hay, and it's far easier to feed them if they're in there. Of course, if you're not up together with the build, the house build is going well. It's not weather tight yet, but it might be by Christmas. And we're getting organised for winter. We're not there yet. I'm giving myself about half a day a week on the farm, maybe a day at max, but it's just not enough. So we need to, I need to set aside some time. It's hard to do that while there's rain blowing into our future house.
Guineas.
$4.60. He's in here, isn't he? Go on, boy. $131, yeah? Well done. You coming out with this if you want? They can't get through. Hey? I'm not going to go all the way up there now because I'm lazy. But up on the hill field, which is the one bit of winter grazing really that we've got. I mean, the lake field stays pretty dry. There are 20, Eden would tell me, 25 ewes, maybe more. And our new ram, Maverick, and Jeffrey, just in there as a little chaperone. So they all went in together on about Guy Fawkes night, around there. So we'll be back to April lambing as usual. So the idea is, well, we haven't had cows before, and because we'll be milking all winter, I don't really want to be walking all the way through the fields to get cows in each time. So the idea is that wherever they've been during the day, they'll be up here during the night in this paddock, so I can just have them at the gate ready to go in, milk her, and then they can go off for the day. So I'm not sure how much rest this paddock will get, so we might end up lambing up in the hill field, we'll see. But they are all covered now, so basically we've put that raddle chalk onto Maverick, the new ram, and within about 10 days he'd covered them all, so they've all got a mark on the bum now. I haven't changed it for a different colour, because what we could do, which we've done in previous years, is to change that colour, which would mean that if he notices any of them coming back into season, he would then mate them again and a different colour would be transferred. The benefit of that means that we would know, one, that those lambs are going to be late, but also that ewe didn't get pregnant the first time that it was mated. So it could be a worry sign in that, you know, she's not as fertile as she should be, or he might have just been a bit rusty, or actually it's his first time, so we can't blame him. either way, hopefully they're all covered. We'll be scanning in January again. Other things over there, I've got one of our older ewes. She's only 3-4 years old. She got mastitis last year. She's been a bit poorly, so she's in a separate paddock with the goats over there, or where the goats are meant to be, and we won't breed from her again. But she was so underweight and poorly that she couldn't go off as a cull ewe, and she's kind of nice, and she's quite a good ewe to stick with the lambs to train them to follow a bucket, because she'll run up to you and be super friendly. So she might just become nanny sheep for now. So they're all up there, and then like I said, the pigs are down in that bottom corner, and they will be due to farrow in February, I think, which is great. Coldest month of the year probably, and we'll have 3 pigs farrowing within a week of each other. So they will be coming indoors for that, and we'll have to set aside a couple of days to build those pens, make sure all the rails are up, and get it all set up with heat lamps. Right, well, half loaded. Unfortunately, you can't quite get 4 bales side by side. That's 16. I think we'll probably fit the same in again. I love looking around at the farms, good fun. Learn loads. That guy was, didn't actually catch his name. They raise sheep here, and then they also have a farm, I think he set up in Brecon. It's quite a nice setup. Got a few tips. I didn't realise what a problem the wild boar were. I mean, I don't know, there's an awful lot over in the Forest of Dean and around here, but just on their farm, which is not huge, he said he's shooting about 300 a year, every year. Like, they're coming back every year, and the population's just spiralling. Most of those sows are having 3 litters a year. It's just nuts, just tearing through all their fences and crops every single year. Glad we don't have to deal with that, especially because we've got pigs. You know, there's an awful lot of testing and fencing and all sorts if you've got pigs near wild boar. Come on then. Good girl. Here we go. Go on. Let's go. Go on. Storm Dara, or whatever his name is, and he's been brutal. And we've lost a bunch of trees, but nothing too valuable. But as you saw yesterday, the cows decided to slip past me down to the lake field, and I just don't really want them down there, especially with Hyssop so close to calving. So they're coming back up. That was my task this afternoon, and to assess damage elsewhere. I think we've been let off lightly. The build's been battered a bit. Some of the temporary sheeting's ripped up. As you can see, there's a bit of a gash on the side, and the cabin took a bit of a rattle, but nothing much. So hopefully the cows are going to fit past this digger now. Might be that there's just too much wind noise on the camera, so you won't be able to hear me on this phone. But if you can, then it's time to announce and to give a bit of a plug to our DIY Farm 2025 calendar, which we sold about half of, but there's plenty remaining. We were tight for getting in any more printing of t-shirts or hoodies done, so we're pretty much out of time for that for Christmas, but calendars are going out every day this week. So if you would like a calendar, then head over to the channel page, website, sorry, and you'll find it. Like they found the hay. It would appear they found the half a bale of hay which was sat in the back of the truck from last week. I don't really want to pause here, guys. Go on, there's more. I'll get you another bale. Go on, keep going. Keep going. This might be my afternoon activity, moving these cows now. So I'm going to leave the video there. Hope you enjoyed that bit of an update around the farm. If you can hear me, thanks for watching. Take care, and we'll see you next time.